Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Mike Graham.
Mike Graham, who's he? No, he's not here. I'm Kevin O'Sullivan, and our guests this week are the fabulous Maddie Hale, Russell Quirk, of course, Candice Holdsworth. What's your name? Steve Denyer from Virgin, of course. First up, let's go with Russell. Who you got, Russell?
So I think it has to be the most dangerous woman in America, not Hillary Clinton, but Kimberly Cheetle, who is the head of the Secret Service in the United States. Could she have made a bigger dog's dinner of the attempted assassination of Donald Trump if she tried? Bearing in mind, this is the woman that somehow she's qualified to be head of the Secret Service. Her previous job was basically guarding cans of Pepsi. And, head of global security at PepsiCo sounds grand, but basically she was in charge of making sure confectionery didn't get stolen. Yeah. So I don't know where to begin with her, really. So we've heard all sorts of reports, some substantiated, some not, that, there were not snipers on roofs as in counter snipers where they were supposed to be. There's a rumour, apparently, that the reason that there were no counter snipers from the Secret Service on the particular roof that the shot was taken at Donald Trump was because it was sloping.
Should that roof have been secure, period?
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so, the decision was made to secure the building from inside.
Safety factor concerning Donald Trump as well, wasn't there? What an idiot.
There is. So, I mean, I think I've just won, haven't I, based on that clip?
Yeah, let's go. Bye.
So we've got the Secret Service that are protecting the most important people on the planet. And she says that we can't put a burly Secret Service agent up there, even if he's an ex-SEAL or, an ex-Ranger or whatever, because of a sloping gradient. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. But she is also the individual that when she first got the job, a job given to her by Joe Biden, by the way, she said, right, here's my mission. This is my focus. And that is to make sure that there is equality within the Secret Service. At least 30% of Secret Service agents should be women. Well, I have to say, and I'm not for a second suggesting that a woman can't be a Secret Service agent.
That's not equality.
Well,
50% is equality.
50. So I'm not suggesting that Secret Service agents can't be women. However, if you see the fracas around Donald Trump when he's shot, and you see these kind of Melissa McCarthy lookalikes that are running around and trying to put their guns in holsters like this.
I know.
There she is.
And shouting at the top of their voice.
Look at that one.
This isn't rumour or conjecture either. That girl there is shouting out, what do we do? What do we do now? Right, so, and this all comes from the top. This comes from Kimberly Cheetle all the way down to that absolute disaster. So, not only should she be Plank of the Week, Kev, she should be fired.
Yeah, and by the way, she was the real recommendation of Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden. She's not a real doctor, by the way, because Jill Biden, like Kimberly Cheetle, is obsessed with DEI, with diversity. So, as you say, her mission is to get 30% of female officers. And I'm going to say something now that you're not allowed to say these days. I'm going to say it anyway. It is this, that those people who were allegedly protecting the president were short, fat women. They were not up to the job in terms of their stature. They were out of shape and they were dwarves.
They were not
ridiculous.
They were not tall enough.
I know, exactly.
It looked like a comedy show. He was towering. He's tall. He is tall. He was towering over them.
To the point where I questioned if it was actual gunshots.
Well, by the way, have any of you seen Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? 'Cause here are some of them. Here we go.
After Secret Service Barbie, a highly trained member of the Secret Service, removes her weapon from its holster for the very first time in her career. She struggles to return her pea shooter as though it's her first day on the job. Chewing her gum nonchalantly, she attempts to exude a tactical demeanour, reminiscent of a fusion between the Blues Brothers and Rosie O'Donnell.
I mean, it's the sort of thing that you expect to see as like a parody movie with Amy Schumer in it and Melissa McCarthy.
But that wasn't even the worst thing. The worst thing is that ordinary people saw the shooter about 5-10 minutes before and were pointing at him on the roof and saying, he's there, look, he's got a gun. And no one did anything.
Well, and the other rumour, and again, you might correct me here, Kev, if it's now been substantiated, was that the counter-sniper on the roof that had the sniper in his sights says he had that sniper in his sights for 3 minutes.
He took a picture
3 minutes,
of him.
and he's in his earpiece saying, "Can I take the shot? Because I think this guy might be up to no good." He's on a roof with a gun. And the head of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheetle, says, "No, don't take the shot." He then says, "I took it when the first shot was fired at Trump and took him out and killed him." And it seems that individual now, Jonathan Williams, I think his name is, has now been chastised for breaking orders.
And I'm going to throw in something else into the pot here, Steve. What do you think? She says, well, health and safety, there's a very slopey roof. It wasn't a very slopey roof. It was about like that, A baby could have stood up on it. Ridiculous.
Yeah, well, the size of some of those people, they would have fallen through the roof. I think that would have been the problem.
I'm literally not on this.
It was when you look at the Reagan assassination, obviously 40 years ago, and how they kind of got into the action within seconds and saved his life. Obviously, he was hit back then. It was so much more of a professional outfit, wasn't it? To look at that compared to this. This was like there was chaos.
Additionally, Kimberly Cheetle has been asked about the role of the police because she said on the record the police had jurisdiction over that building. The police chief has since come back and said, she's lying.
It's ridiculous.
It's not true.
It's ridiculous
it's not
anyway.
True.
The Secret Service, wherever they go, they take precedence. You can't start blaming. She tried to blame or throw the local police under the bus. She is a disaster. But of course, this was a massive story, and it went all around the world. Here's Japanese news reporting it.
我が心と行動に一点の曇りなし。すべてが正義だ。ドジャーン、ドジャーン、ドジャーン。一体何のつもりなんだ。遺体はこのバレンタインのことを推定。
I got that wrong. That wasn't Japanese news. That was BBC News at 10.
That was an actual reenactment.
Yeah, we're going to move on now. But thank you very much for all of that. Let's move on to Candice. And what is your first nomination?
So my first nomination is the Royal College of Physicians, who have recently issued guidance to GPs that they should, in appointments with patients, they should speak to them about climate change and how climate change is good for your health. And they should, in their work, they should undertake work that takes into account not doing any unnecessary emissions. So don't send anyone for any X-rays if they need them, or don't issue too many prescriptions because that's bad for climate change.
Yeah, you've got to cut back on prescriptions because writing prescriptions is bad for the planet. So in other words, don't worry about the patients, worry about the planet. So your patients will die because you're not writing them prescriptions for the medicines they require, but at least the planet will be saved. And by the way, also, they said, well, the thing is about climate change, you've got to be careful because it causes so much stress, and we need to alert GPs to treat people for what we call climate distress. Meanwhile, GPs must repeat the dangers of climate change to their patients, and I quote, often. So that's going to cause climate distress, isn't it?
But that's just what you want, right? I mean, you've been through the ordeal of actually getting the appointment. You've done the 8 a.m. scramble about 1 million times. It's been 4 weeks, you're in there. And he starts talking about climate change. That's just what you want. You want to talk about your ingrown toenail.
Yeah, you got the doctor with a bad back, as I'm wont to do now and again, because I have got a bad back. I know, kind of. Don't cry too much. He's got a bad back. Now, I want to tell you about climate change. Really? Why? Unbelievable,
But do you think this also might extend the appointment time because they've then got to get in the extra 2 or 3 minutes of climate change nonsense, which means there's going to be less appointments around?
How does it get so naturally woven into a conversation? Is it just that doctors are told the last 15 minutes has to be dedicated for this big presentation on climate change?
Well, maybe in Kevin's case it would be, you've got a bad back, have you, Mr. O'Sullivan? OK, have you tried an electric car?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, the point is, Steve, this is, you would hope that our physicians, the Royal College of Physicians, doctors, GPs, intelligent, educated people would be resistant to this crazed climate change hysteria that is turning the world into a basket case. But no, they're right at the centre of it.
I'm really surprised about that. Like you say, you would think that, wouldn't you? Yeah. But unbelievable. What a waste of time.
Didn't they... Sorry to interrupt, Steve. Didn't they also, Candice, get told that they should be working from home a bit?
Yeah, that's right.
They did. And that's just one thing that... I mean, I'm not someone that's such a tyrant on working from home. We obviously can't really do it here, but doctors, come on, that's so unfair. When I get told from my doctor in Sydney that can you do a telehealth phone appointment instead? No. I want to come in. I want you to see me physically.
Well, you have to. You have to look in people's eyes.
Yeah.
You have to be face to face with them.
You know? See,
It was last time I phoned the doctors. I wanted to see them about my back, and so you get through to the receptionist. You start saying, "Well, when did the symptoms start?" You know, a couple of weeks ago. And what form are they taking? And well, you know, basically, I can't really move. And it's like, and then she's asking, and you know, how bad is the pain? It's like, excuse me, Mrs. Receptionist, when did you get your medical degree? I don't want to talk to you about it. I want to talk to a bloody doctor about it.
And they're getting worse as receptionists. They really are.
Yeah, they're gorgons.
As gatekeepers.
They're the gatekeepers, you're right. Yeah. Mind you, it's a little bit better than during the COVID crisis when it was a big sign, no entry, you can't come in.
If you're ill, don't come in.
I mean, the crisis, the COVID era, ushered in a new form of doctor. When we ended up with a bunch of GPs who were terrified of catching illnesses from their patients, they became dysfunctional. Don't get me near the patients, I might catch something. Well, you're in the wrong bloody job then, aren't you?
This is why some of them only work 3 days a week. Because they're scared of patients.
But there is a sense of victimhood. I've seen it. I mean, I went through maternity care. And you see the doctors are like, I'm so busy, I've been covering this and I've been covering that. And, you know, women are like, I'm giving birth, I've been waiting for 3 hours. I think I might, you know, I might take priority here.
Did you hear that GP talking to Mike on his breakfast show saying, oh, you know, I couldn't possibly do more than 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 days a week. And Mike goes, well, why not? Everybody else does it. Oh, well, it's the mental health pressure, you know, mental health. It's like, what gives you the right to say that your job is so pressurised, it's so prone to giving you mental health issues that, oh, you can only do 3 days? Why? Why? The rest of us do 5. Turn up to work. And by the way, I am a tyrant about working from home. We've got to ban it. Ban it. Turn up to the office or get sacked. That's my view. Now, we're talking about climate change and we've got a new government. I don't know if you've noticed, the new tyrannical, massive socialist government poking its damn nose into every area of our lives. And we've got this absolute madman, a guy called Ed Miliband, Crazy Ed, Mad Miliband. He is the net zero secretary. And, of course, they're fond of saying the grown-ups are in the room now. Labour are in government. The grown-ups are in the room. Here's grown-up Ed telling us all about climate change. Take it away.
The answer is blowing in the wind. So here I am, on the latest stage of my GB Energy Tour.
Oh, shut up, you lunatic. This guy is the most dangerous man in Britain. He's already cancelled all drilling in Scotland, in the North Sea, so Aberdeen is ruined. 100,000 jobs down the drain. He's got massive, great wind farms and solar farms, destroying real farms. He is a catastrophe. We better move on, though. Steve Denyer, what is your first nomination?
Guys, I've got a good one. Basically...
We'll be the judge of that.
OK, Just Stop Oil, OK?
That is a good one.
I mean, I could just end it there.
Good so far.
Thank you. This is the moment a furious driver's brand new electric car was attacked by them.
Hang on, an electric car.
Electric car. So you've got the 17, Just Stop Oil mobbists. It's an effing electric car. I didn't swear.
No, you
I mean, iPad's just died. But
what were you trying to say then? Fucking.
Yeah, it's a fucking electric car, OK? That felt great. That felt really good.
Ratings just got up.
I mean, I know.
So what do they want it to be on? A horse?
They do.
They were bragging on social media.
They've attacked the horse.
They paint the horse orange.
They were bragging on social media that they were on Holland Road and they'd been doing this march and no police had turned up for 45 minutes, apparently. So when the police did turn up, huge altercation, this guy's car gets attacked. Lots of effing and jeffing. Yeah. And they're ridiculous. I know somebody in Just Stop Oil who just goes along to these marches and enjoys every moment.
I bet you
he doesn't know a great deal about why they're doing it, but he says, I go along for the crack.
Yeah, he's got to spend his inheritance money somehow, right?
Yeah. That is entertainment. Yeah. I might start going along.
he's doing social
When I'm
media
bored.
stuff and, you know...
I mean, talking about green hypocrisy, did you see that the leader of the Green Party, one of the 4 Green MPs that got elected, he's got no, it's a guy.
No relation to me.
It's the joint leader. Anyway, he is now he's an MP. He has raised massive objections. He's leading a campaign not to have any pylons going through his constituency. These pylons were to carry or will carry green energy. He's from the Green Party. I mean, they said, well, you're from the Green Party. This is green energy. He said, I'm a constituency MP first. No, you're not. You're just another NIMBY.
Yes, well, it was the same, I think, at the Labour cabinet. Loads of them had been involved in NIMBY campaigns, but now they claim, no, they're going to override all the planning regulations. No one actually behaves the way they say they are.
Indeed. Now, we've got to move on, and I'm going to name Maddie Hale the winner, because tell us who your nomination is.
I feel like every time I come on this show, I literally nominate Joe Biden.
He's the new Sadiq Khan, isn't he?
Well, how can you not, Maddie?
But I
How can you
can't.
not?
There's so much content for me to choose from. Like, I could come on here with 20 examples from the last 5 days, and yet here I am only with 2 to keep this short and sweet for you. I'm nominating him first, and I'm nominating him in conjunction with the Air Force One stairs, because those two, Joe Biden, the Air Force One stairs, they're a match made in heaven.
Aren't they Joe Biden?
There he goes.
Tonight.
Look how slowly he's going.
So
He's
this
so
is him.
terrified of falling over
This is him
now.
touching down in Delaware, and he's so scared.
It's like they're made of hot lava.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
And anyway, that's just one of the many clips of him going up and down those stairs that have gone viral. But he's just touched down in Delaware. He's been told he's got COVID for the 3rd time. So he's not going to be doing any campaign stuff for the next week or so while he recovers. And that video just was such a reflection on where we're at in the economic climate of him really taking those stairs.
It's just getting worse day by day for him, isn't it? It's just unravelling.
Yes, he is.
He's just not all there, is he?
It is quite
this
sad.
is just purely my speculation and my theory, but he's got COVID, my arse. I'll tell you what's going on now, in my view. The Democrats are preparing for their next big lie. They've been lying through their teeth now for 2 years, saying that this old geezer isn't senile, which of course he is. He's been saying, I'm still standing, I'm going to beat Donald Trump. Everybody knows he will get thrashed by Donald Trump. So here's their next big lie. Oh, he's got COVID. The doctors say, he's got a general malaise. Simultaneously, he releases a quote saying, the only reason I would consider stepping down is for medical reasons on doctor's advice. Doctor's general malaise, he's got COVID. They will soon announce he's too ill to carry on. He would have beaten Donald Trump, but for this damn COVID thing, bunch of lies. When are these dozy Democrats going to stop telling us stupid lies that no one believes? No one believed he wasn't senile, and I don't believe he's ill.
Well, they're taking a leaf out of their 2020 handbook, are they not? Just referencing COVID yet again.
I think Kev's right. It's the way out, but the problem for them is, of course, the person that's next in line that presumably have to be on the ticket will be Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Even worse.
By the way, this is not... Yeah, well, Kamala Harris will probably get the gig and some loser will be...
Well, then she'll lose, obviously.
Yeah,
but
she'll
then that
lose.
gets her out the way.
I think the Democrats have already ceded this. They've conceded this election. They know they're not going to win. So Biden might stay there because they don't really care anymore. But as you say, if it's Kamala Harris... no chance at all. And by the way, Sky News, we haven't really got time, but Sky News could have been on the list of planks for this week, in my view, because they started going, why isn't he wearing a mask? He's got COVID. Why isn't he wearing a... Honestly, you pathetic wankers, honestly.
Can we move on from COVID? Why are you even testing?
And who are these people who still wear masks?
Well, who are
they fascinate me.
And there's more of them
test
recently.
things as well. I mean, I threw them out 4 years ago.
Yeah, by the way, I've never tried one. Of course I did, all the time. This is Joe Biden attempting to speak.
The idea that corporate-owned housing is able to raise your rent $300-400 a month or something, under what I'm about to announce, they can't raise it more than $55.
United States of America. This is the United States of America. Yes, Joe, thank you very much. We know
And he
that.
made a mistake there. He was meant to say 5%.
Of course he did. Of course he did. He always makes a mistake.
I know.
Anyway, we have to go to an ad break now. Welcome back. No, it's not Mike Graham. It's me. I'm the thin one. Well, come on. I'm a little slimmer than Mike. I think you'll concede that. And it is my go to nominate my first potential plank of the week, Yvette Cooper. She's the Home Secretary, the new Home Secretary, and along with old Keir, she's got this dynamic, brilliant plan. She's going to solve the migrant crisis with her Border Security Command. She's looking for a guy, £200,000 a year, some loser who's going to be all woke about it. There are going to be hundreds of coppers going around the continent, apparently looking to smash the gangs. Smash the gangs. We're going to smash the gangs. Now, listen, this is to mischaracterise the problem. You can smash as many gangs as you like. As long as the migrants keep coming, the gangs will be there. So you can arrest every people smuggler there is right now, which, by the way, they're incapable of doing. Put them all in jail, and tomorrow there will be a whole new load of people smugglers, because what they do is they provide the supply. The demand is the migrants. As long as the migrants come, there will be people smugglers. So this plan mischaracterises the problem, the crux of the problem, and absolutely 100% will not work. Meanwhile, while Starmer and Cooper stream out this bullshit, we've had around about 2,000 migrants have come over since, by the way, by the time this show goes out, it'll probably be near enough 3,000 since the Labour government were elected. We've had 5 deaths, 5 drownings. We've had something like 150 people have had to be rescued out of the channel with their boats sinking. This is the Starmada that we were warned about, that without any deterrence, because they cancelled the Rwanda scheme. You know, people go, well, the Rwanda scheme wasn't working, it didn't work. How do we know? It never started. Starmer cancelled it before it started, and James Cleverly, who, by the way, is just as guilty as the rest of them, the Tory government, absolute disgrace. But they had a big sign, the Tories had a big sign, everyone welcome. Now all that Starmer's done is polish it up and make sure that the migrants can see it better. This is a disaster. He's already let out 92,000 deportees who were being detained, ready for deportation to Rwanda. 92,000. What did he do with them? They basically open the gates and go, this is England, this is Britain, enjoy, you can stay forever. This is ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. And Yvette Cooper and Starmer, but particularly Cooper, with a stupid Border Security Command nonsense, is going to preside over a national catastrophe, trust me.
I mean, they think that by giving Border Force a new name and a new boss, bearing in mind several people have actually turned the job down already, because they know it's not going to work. It's not going to work, and therefore you don't want the responsibility of that failure. So they think by giving it a new name that somehow it's going to wave a magic wand and fix the problem. We're now going to get to a stage where something like 2,000 migrants a week will start coming over.
Wow.
They're already calling, so the migrants and the migrant gangs are already referring to Keir Starmer as, do you know what?
The friendly one.
Mr. Friendly.
No, it's the friendly one.
Russell,
the friendly one.
This is literally the exact same thing that happened to the United States.
Well, and tell us what happened in Australia.
Well,
because in
Australia,
Australia, apparently they solved the problem in a week.
Stop the boats. Every time I come on this show and immigration comes up, someone's like, explain the Australian system to me, because a lot of
Australia literally physically turned the boats around. And if you look at the chart of illegal migrants, it stops and goes down in a week.
Under the Abbott government.
Because they physically turned the boats around, which is all we need to do.
Yes, exactly. They were very strict, but the thing is that at the time, it was crucified for being so immoral. But the thing is that every time when the Labour government came in, they didn't change it.
But Maddie, it's not immoral.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what is immoral is encouraging these people to keep coming over, risking their lives. When the boats sink, 5 people dead since the Labour government got in, and it's going to get worse through the summer.
And Labour are tinkering around the edges.
Yeah, because of course, you know, so far the summer, I don't know if you've noticed, has not been particularly good weather.
No.
The weather's about to get better. They are going to come over in their droves, and I'm going to use that naughty word here. It will be an absolute invasion, and Starmer is going to have to learn about unpopularity on an epic scale damn fast.
Yeah. The other issue, of course, is that in the meantime, whilst Keir Starmer and Yvette Cooper are waiting for this to fail, because it will, as Kev says, we are going to have this influx, this invasion. What's going to happen to those individuals? They're going to be wandering around the streets. They're undocumented. We don't know who they are. And the way that Yvette Cooper and Keir Starmer are going to deal with them is to grant them more and more amnesties. Whilst they're trying to see if this works, which it won't, the problem will get far worse than even under Rishi Sunak.
Well, do you know what they're going to say? They're going to say they're going to fast track all the asylum applications that are in now. These 92,000 will be who had been denied asylum.
And that would be an amnesty.
No, they've now been allowed asylum, and that asylum will be fast tracked. So they'll say fairly quickly, "Oh, look, we're really getting the numbers down."
No, the
they're not. They're just saying that everybody who came here illegally that we don't know anything about, half of them are going to be Albanian drug dealers, can stay. It's going to be as simple as that.
But this is why I think it's similar to the US, because what happened was, on your note of saying that Keir is friendly, is that if you've actually watched coverage at the US-Mexico border, when you've got journalists down there situated there waiting for these influx, and I mean influx, they're going by the thousands into the border, they interview migrants from all over and they say, why now? And they literally say, because Joe Biden will let us in. It's because
very good analogy. Very good analogy.
They think it's a friend. They think this is the friendly president that will let them in, and the same thing will happen
and
here.
And in the US, it's the same problem as here, whereas actually they know not only are they going to be let in, but they're going to be paid.
Exactly.
They will get housing, they will get healthcare, they will get education, they will get paid.
And they can
I've said it a million times, and I'm not even exaggerating. The way to deal with this, apart from physically turning the boats around, is to take away the incentive that there is for these migrants, which is we give them a free house, we give them healthcare, we give them education, we give them 46 quid a week. If you're pregnant and you're a migrant, you get £300 in cash. And I kid you not, it's at the government website. It's on the government website. No wonder they're coming here in their droves.
Yeah, of course. And by the way, the people smugglers, so Yvette Cooper, my nomination, by the way, is going around saying, this is going to terrify them. This is our deterrent. We're going to have this really big force rounding up the gangs. The gangs are so terrified that they're going around the migrants saying, we've got a special Labour offer. It's the cheapest they've ever offered. The tickets across the channel now under Labour are £1,500. Yep. The special Labour bargain offer. And the migrants are going, great, because they're part of it. It's £1,500 and we've got a Labour government. So when you get over there, they will welcome you with open arms.
You know what they'll be calling
absurd.
They'll be calling it the Starmer buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
But it looks like what they're going to do now is Starmer's going to do a deal with the EU where they take back some people, some deportees, and we take about 100,000 asylum seekers.
Yeah, what's that about? They're in Blenheim Palace now talking about this with Macron. They're going to do a deal, as you say, that I think Macron will turn it down, by the way, but Starmer wants Macron to take some of our migrants, our boat people, back. In return for them dumping a load of asylum seekers on us.
But the scary thing is the EU have also said in the past that if you want a returns agreement, which is what that is, then you have to accept the principle of freedom of movement.
Yeah.
So, which means basically we bounce out of Brexit.
Yeah, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. Absolutely, it's going to be a disaster. Right, talking of disasters, Russell, what is your next nomination?
Talking of jokes, Kev, my second nomination is the Metropolitan Police Service. When I say service, not much of a service, is it? Let's be quite honest. So, in special measures...
Why do they call it a service?
It should be a force, shouldn't it?
I want you to be a service.
So, let's just call them the Met Police in special measures. Hopeless and useless as the management are. And I don't mean the rank and file, I mean the management, the likes of Mark Rowley and Cressida Dick before him, appropriate surname. Anyway, they decided that given how rubbish we are at football, we've actually got to the final of the Euros, and you would imagine that everybody would be behind the supporters and allowing them to celebrate on the streets of London. And you can just imagine, can't you? Big screens outside. Yeah, big screens outside bars, people in the streets, flags waving, celebratory. Oh no, the Metropolitan Police said, no. There will be no outside screens. There will be no alcohol on the street. In fact, what we're going to do, we're going to impose effectively what they call a dispersal order, which is like a curfew on the streets of Westminster. Westminster Council, of course, covers a huge swathe of London. So you can't celebrate, you can't be out on the street, you can't drink in the street.
That's ridiculous.
Talk about being anti-celebratory, anti-patriotic. That is what we've got in today's Metropolitan Police Service.
They sucked all the joy out of it.
They exactly did that.
Every last drop.
Well put,
But also, this is something that really grinds my gears, because I feel like the nanny state of Sydney basically was ruined by rules like that.
Yep.
If you look to Sydney's nightlife, it started with things like that. It was a great city nightlife-wise. The economy suffered so much because they took away stuff like that, and it has never bounced back. This is one of the reasons why I literally moved to London, so you can have a normal life and go out. But why can't the Met Police deploy just policemen in those public areas on the night, so that they're just, isn't that what you're there for?
And accept that football fans can have a drink now and again. You like drinking, Steve. What do you think?
I've had one or two.
In fact, you like drinking way too much.
Well,
what are your thoughts?
Discovered last Friday.
Sorry, hang on, pots and kettles, can I just say?
Listen, that game was so bad, it was so boring. I was walking past places where you were allowed to drink. It was like somebody had died in some of them, you know? There was, I thought, you know, I do the early breakfast show on Virgin. Nice plug. I thought on Sunday I won't be able to sleep because the noise and the insanity.
Sound like a baby.
I slept best night's sleep of my life.
Well, you've got the Metropolitan Police.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Was it more quiet than your usual night?
It's quieter than the absolutely.
Basically, they silenced the entire capital of Britain. No celebrations allowed.
Yeah, but if it's a pro-Palestine march, the police can't do
Yeah.
enough for them.
They
You know,
encourage it.
they are able to do anything they want. But if you're an England fan and you fancy a drink, the police are down on you like a ton of
Or
bricks.
ironically, things like
What is the matter
the
with them?
Notting Hill Carnival, where all the police dress up in their rainbow helmets and they
fun.
dance around and so on. That's okay, apparently. Even though, you know, 5 or 6 people get stabbed at every single carnival.
Oh, that's where I live,
fine.
so I'll be
You
out.
can do that. But if you're a football fan with an England flag on and you might get a little bit excited, no. we're
But
not
there
having it.
was so much finger wagging at the last tournament. Do you remember? There was that guy who inserted a firework into a very sensitive part of his body.
Yes.
But football fans like
But who did he hurt?
obsession.
Who did he hurt apart from himself?
Exactly, but that's what
He
they
stuck
do.
it up his arse, didn't he?
Yes. But they do that. That's what they do. It's part of the fun.
Yeah.
But like all these people were suddenly just like very puritanical, like they'd never seen anything like that before.
I mean, don't do that at home, folks, but it was kind of funny. What could possibly go wrong? I just put this Astra firework up my arse. I mean, come on.
Everyone was cheering.
Right, let's move on. Candice, you're next. What is your second proposal?
So it's Wireless Festival, and they, for some reason, have banned what they think to be is offensive clothing. And I cannot believe that cultural appropriation is still a thing. I didn't know it was still a thing, but apparently it is. If you go into Wireless Festival, you will be searched for things like sombreros and
What?
other offensive material.
When you talk about offensive uniform, I think you mean like wearing Nazi uniforms, like Prince Harry or something. You don't mean that. What do you mean?
We used to get searched for, you know, mind-altering substances before you went into festivals.
Tell
Now,
us all about your part.
tell us about your
Speak
part.
for yourself.
oh yes.
Did they ever find anything on you?
No, excuse
Never,
me, excuse me,
never.
public. If anybody offers you drugs, kids, just say no. Carry on.
Bill Nye. Bill Nye.
It's the boho. It's like the boho clothing, isn't it?
yes, well, it's if you're wearing a sombrero, because that used to be the thing. You always used to see loads of people at festivals wearing sombreros, or sometimes you'd see maybe
Because
like
it's good for the sun and all that.
yeah, and it's fun and
So
it's
sorry, you can't wear sombreros. What about ponchos?
No,
No,
poncho's
God, no,
specifically
Russell.
banned.
yes, kafirs.
No, that one, Candice, that made me cringe.
Yeah.
The fact that a music festival is saying no cultural appropriation to cafes, and then you have thousands and thousands of college students wearing them at the pro-Palestine rallies.
But the Palestine scarves, I guarantee you, were okay at the Wireless
Yeah.
Festival, and Palestine flags, but anything else. And I don't get, first of all, shouldn't cultural appropriation be called cultural misappropriation? It's the wrong term anyway.
Yeah.
And secondly, I don't understand why, if I put a sombrero or a poncho on, and they were particularly worried, by the way, about Native American headdresses,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
apparently a lot of people like to wear to rock concerts. Christ knows why. And I'm off to a rock concert. I think I'll put this Native American. I like looking like a dickhead, but seriously, I just don't understand why that's racist. Why is it racist if a white guy wants to have Rastafarian
I
hair?
think
or
people
something?
say
Why?
my culture is not your costume. I think that's the saying. But I wonder if this will happen with cowboy hats eventually.
Yes.
And that would be a crying shame, especially to me, who looks
about
really good in
berets
them.
Berets and
Yeah,
striped tops,
Russell,
right?
it could
Not
happen
all.
with a beret.
There was a guy who went viral recently on Twitter who's one of Taylor Swift's backup dancers.
Oh, yeah, that
And he
guy.
was getting very sensitive about wearing tartan.
Was he?
Yes. He didn't want to disrespect the culture, apparently.
The Scottish wouldn't care, they're all drunk. What do you think about this, Steve? You're a rock concert type
the thing
person.
Is, I don't want anyone wearing anything that's going to block my view when I go along to these concerts.
That's the most relevant
I mean, the
one.
other thing to say about Wireless is they got into a lot of trouble because they shut the whole thing down because of the football match, the England football match. So, you know, the thing is, if you paid money, and some people paying £300 for this weekend, and they were expecting headline acts. A couple of the headline acts pulled out. They wanted the festival to be shut down by 7. Everyone's off the site by the time the football match starts. So the whole thing...
Why don't they just play it on the screens in the festival?
Didn't want to do that. They said that it would incite problems, fighting...
Oh, again, were they run by the Metropolitan Police?
Yeah.
Seriously.
You know what you said about like getting people with big hats on in front of you
Yes.
you can't see? Just a quick little story. So I went to the Hampstead Theatre once to see Noel Cowell play Private Lives, and the Hampstead Theatre's always completely packed out. So I'm with my wife. A lucky break in the middle. There's 2 seats here in front of us, so we've got perfectly. They're empty. They're the only empty seats in the theatre, so we've got a perfect view of the stage. Well, I said, wow, this is a bit of luck, isn't it? And then literally, just as the curtain was raising, 2 people came and took the seats, and the one in front who sat in front of me was the famous comedian Stephen Merchant, who's 6 foot. So I never saw a bloody thing the whole night. The whole night. We're going to go to a break now. Welcome back. As you've already noticed, you eagle-eyed viewers, I'm not Mike Graham, I'm Kevin O'Sullivan, and we're going through some of the planks of the week, and it's Steve Denyer's turn. Who you got, Steve?
OK, I'm going to try and remember this. The iPad's died, but this is, in my notes, the Norwegian princess who claims the ghost of a Nazi general who shot himself in her bedroom tried to strangle her. I just want to phone this woman and say, is everything OK at home, hun?
What's her name? Princess Martha Louise of Norway. I didn't even know they had a royal family.
She's King
Don't even
Harold.
wear those hats, you know, cultural appropriation. Those Viking
very
hats
on
or
top of
something
you.
like that.
But she claims in her teenage years she was often visited by this dark force.
Stark, sending her powerful
there she is.
eugenics
By the
or
sounds of
something.
it, yeah.
She looks normal.
Yeah.
And,
There she is, there she is. She
looks absolutely
She looks like a
normal.
lovely lady. She looks like a lovely...
She had people check behind her curtains to, you know, see if any evil forces were lurking. We've all been there.
Yes.
But it turns out when she did some research, this Nazi general had shot himself in a previous incarnation.
Wow.
So, but I do think she's got a bit of a wacky history of stories, out there stories.
What's
and
that
stuff.
sash she's wearing, by the way? What's she like, Miss Oslo or something? Like a beauty contest. A Nazi... Do we know which Nazi general it was?
We do. Hold on. I'm just trying to fire the iPad.
okay, you're going to get it on your phone.
So it was a former soldier who...
This is like we know loads of Nazi generals. Which particular Nazi general? Well, you'll have to specify.
This is General Willem Redis.
Oh, Willem Redis. He was the worst.
Yeah, I'm glad it was him.
He's the last guy you want to visit you in your
Sorry,
sleep.
Steve, in your nomination, are you suggesting that so she thought that she was being visited by ghosts and dark forces, then she discovered that someone had actually been shot in her bedroom?
Yes.
And that somehow validates her mad claims?
Well, yes. The claims were a bit out there and a bit mad.
But she's got a point.
But she's got a point, I suppose.
It could all be true, Russell.
Oh, of course it could.
Yeah.
I just say, watch this
Really,
space,
Maddie?
because-
What's happened in your bedroom in the middle of the night, then, Maddie?
What a load of cynics we are! What a load of cynics we are for doubting her wonderful anecdote. Right, it's you next, Maddie.
Oh God. Okay, this one I actually think I have a feeling this might be a winner. So
You said that about the last one.
no, I didn't say that would win because he wins every week pretty much. But this woman, 49-year-old
By the way,
woman.
I've got the winner because I choose.
Okay, well,
It's
you
his
should
show.
choose me. You should choose me for once. Woman from Staffordshire. Is that how I say it?
Yeah.
Okay. She does have MS. I will preface that she does have MS, but she basically lied to the benefits schemes to say how bad her, symptoms were. She said she couldn't properly walk. She couldn't go to the doctor. She cries every time she goes to pick up her meds. She claimed £20,000 in benefit schemes for a 3-year period, but she was caught running marathons. And she has run like 9.
Oh my God. Oh man, she very much deserves disability
So she was getting
benefit.
paid nearly £2,300 monthly, the PIP. £20,000, sorry, I should say, over a 3-year period. And she was literally spotted in May last year doing another marathon.
So and by the way, she's the last of the great master criminals. And she posted all this on Instagram.
She got caught.
Thinking that the benefits agency would have said, please tell me that she's been prosecuted.
Yeah, she's gone to jail.
She's gone to jail.
Oh, good.
But I think her hearing's scheduled for November. But in this period that she's getting paid £20,000, and mind you, this is apparently the most enhanced number you can get on this scheme. And they basically said they investigated her and found the photos, as Kev said, on her Facebook where she's posting marathon photos. And they said this kind of money that you got was reserved for people with MS that literally cannot walk 1 metre. Direct quote, 1 metre. Yeah. And she ran...
Well, as opposed to 26 miles running.
She ran 73 races from May 2019 to December 2022, and then 2 marathons in February last year.
Has she issued any kind of statement or comment or defence?
She pled guilty, so...
Oh, did she? Okay, well, she couldn't not, right? How can you not plead guilty?
She basically said, I described my pain on my worst of days, as opposed to like generalised.
But not marathon.
No. But they weren't,
So she's a lying benefit cheat, is what we're saying.
But she does have MS.
When they arrested, she should have gone on the run, shouldn't she? I mean, she must have had a very minor case of MS to be able to run lots of marathons.
100%.
I mean, I think that case may revolve around, have you got MS or not? Maybe not. Extraordinary, 20,000 quid.
Yeah, one single. This is reserved. You were awarded the rate. This is what the prosecutor or someone said. You were awarded the rate for somebody who cannot walk for 1 single metre. It is awarded to people who are wheelchair bound or have no legs at all.
Or have no legs at all.
Or have no legs at all.
And then we should see that picture again. The picture of her.
And she ran 73 marathons. Just keep in mind, I am fully able-bodied and I can't run one.
Look at that. I don't think she's got MS at all.
Do you think? I think she might be okay.
She seems okay, doesn't she? Let's go to a break. Welcome back, same drill. I'm not Mike Graham, I'm Kevin O'Sullivan, but I think you've already noticed that we don't look very similar. Although we're a hell of a double act, I'll tell you. Like Laurel and Hardy or somebody like that. Right, let's go. It's me. My second nomination is the now departed, the dearly departed England manager, Gareth Southgate, who has mercifully quit after 8 years of failure. I know that this is not particularly a popular opinion. Actually, the jury's out on that. But, and we should be nice to Gareth, and he gave his life to, you know, for a mere £5 million a year, he managed the national team. He got us to 2 Euros finals. He got us to a World Cup semi-final. But he didn't win us a damn thing. Nothing. We didn't win anything. And when we lost against Spain, I'm sorry, I just kind of snapped. I just thought, I've had enough of this. Because you know what happened? You know, King Charles, soppy King Charles, of course, leading the charge. Oh, well done. We'll hold your head up high. You've got to the final. No. Second is for losers. And until we as a nation embrace that, we will never win a damn thing. He was too nice, and frankly, he was too useless. His tactics in the Euros were hopeless. They were defensive. He turned caution into an art form. He took a squad, definitely the most talented squad in that tournament, and he turned them into a bunch of crapheads. It was useless. It was useless. And they go, oh, well, when we played Spain in the final, they were easily the best team. You know, they were just superior to us. They shouldn't have been. We had better players than them. Well, why was it that their manager was able to get their great players to play as a team, but our manager, who had better players, could not get them to play as a team, and he just parked the bus, played defensive football. He lost it for him. Don't give him a knighthood, or if you want to give him a knighthood, who the hell cares? He failed us.
Well, he did, and look, no one ever remembers who came second in football tournaments, Formula One, tennis. It's not about coming second. In fact, what's that saying about being second just means that you're the best loser.
Yeah, second
You're the
is
best
for
loser.
losers.
Let's not also forget how much money Gareth Southgate has fleeced the FA for. £5 million a year.
No,
£5 million.
He's the highest paid manager in the tournament. £5 million quid a year.
And I completely agree with Kev. I think, look, we need to get back as a society, given that, Britain's fundamentally broken on lots and lots of different levels. One of the reasons is because we reward failure. Now, I think the only measure as England manager is victory, whether it's Euros, whether it's the World Cup or whatever.
Exactly.
If you haven't won anything, how can you be seen as a success?
But it was all about other things with Gareth Southgate, wasn't it?
Waistcoats.
Yeah, but he was quite woke, and he was sort of seen as kind of
very much so.
this sainted manager who was sort of enlightening all these very Stone Age football fans, and he was showing them the way and the proper way that you should behave, and of course all these people who suddenly loved football, they loved that.
Nice guy. He's the nice guy. There's no doubt about that, and therein lies the problem.
But you don't want a nice guy.
We are a nation that settles for second place.
You don't want an England manager that's nice.
Didn't we do well? 1966 is the last time we won anything.
Some of us weren't even born.
We've got to get rid of the gormless Gareths of this
Some
world.
of us weren't even born.
Yeah, bring us... I was at the match. I was playing. No, but we've got to dump people like Gareth and bring in winners. Gareth Southgate is not a winner. And by the way, when he got the job, it was on the back of managing Middlesbrough, who we got relegated.
And it was supposed to be temporary.
Yeah, he was a useless club manager and, frankly, a failure as a national manager. Give him a knighthood if you want. Who cares? But let's not celebrate that guy. He is my plank of the week. Steve, what do you think?
I was just bored. I was just
Really?
bored. I deliberately went out on every single match. I went to see Robbie Williams, Ronan Keating on one of the matches. Sunday night, when I was really fearful, not having any sleep, I got loads of sleep. It was just dull as dishwater, and we've never done well.
And we were very lucky to get to the final. It was a lucky draw.
There was no kind of skill there at all, was there? We just we crawled through. It was boring. The whole thing was boring and dull.
Yeah, look, you need a manager that also invokes a bit of not just respect, but actually I think a bit of fear.
You're right.
And Alex Ferguson.
I'm afraid, nice guy and all that, but Gareth Southgate is a loser, and we need a winner. Mourinho, Klopp, someone like that. So that's my second nomination, and that brings, folks, to an end our discussions today, and it is my job now, a very onerous job. I have to choose the winner. And basically, the whole of the show, since you first spoke, Russell, has been a waste of time, because I'm going to have to go for your nomination of Kimberly Cheetle, the absolutely useless, DEI-obsessed head of the Secret Service in America. So
you're quite correct. Thank you,
Kimberly Cheetle. This is for you. And on that bombshell, thank you very much to Maddie Hale, Steve Denyer, Candice Holdsworth, and the great Russell. Thank you very much. And I think I might be back next week because Mike is still not sunning himself in a bar somewhere where it's sunny. So thanks for watching. See you next week.